Alright, welcome back. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how to diagnose a failed condenser fan motor. So I found the capacitor was failed. I swapped it out. I knew it was basically going to be an issue because I knew it was going to be an issue because I took my thermal H calorie here. It's this thermal imager, and I went ahead and scanned it. This is a quick way, as you can see, pulled up capacitor look like that. You figure, okay, it's got to be the cap, right? But if I take my thermal imager here, take a look here. We can see our compressor is piping hot, right? It's showing about 114 degrees. About 112, 114 degrees, right? But look here. We look here at our condenser fan motor. Cool as a cucumber, right? You could also feel that with your hand. So if it feels cool, when your capacitor is failed and the condenser fan motor is not turning at all, you could pretty much write that off as a condenser fan motor for the most part, right? But we always want to verify. We don't want to just guess. Because essentially, it should be, this condenser fan motor should be at least warm. Forget about cool, but if not warm, reasonably speaking, it would have been burning hot. It would have been over 120 degrees or something if it was actually trying to start. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do, pull off basically all the leads to the condenser fan motor. So we got, gotcha. We got our common, our start winding. Oh, sorry, that's going to be our run. And then here's our common here on the top of the contactor. Put our meter to ohms. I'm using the TPI 287. Love this meter. I'm going to go ahead and do a demo on how this thing is the most accurate meter if you want to do check the capacitor under load. This thing is within tenths of a percentage as far as your capacitance reading. If you benchmark it compared to the underload with this meter. I've tested with the Redfish, the Field Piece, all those other meters just aren't as tight. The amp clamp on this thing is completely accurate. So it's only going to be as strong as your amp clamp. Let's get back to what we're doing here though. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there. All right. Now let's take a look here. I'm going to put one on this. That's going to be your start there. And look, we got OL. It's not overheated, but we have an OL. So that's no good. Okay. If it was overheated, we might be able to think, no, that wouldn't even be good because it would be between the common. Here's our common here. Okay, look, we're getting this. We're gonna read something. Okay, 75 ohms. Okay, now let's check here against our another OL. So condenser fan motor is shot. Okay, so we're gonna go and grab that capacitor back off of there and let them know we need to go ahead and get this fan motor swapped out before we do anything. This is an older unit as well, so you're gonna give people the I like to look at myself as a consultant when it comes to these things, like give them the bigger picture too. Is it worth the condenser fan motor replacement? And a capacitor comes with it more than likely, but if the system is old and low charge, because you're taking a gamble, you're not going to be able to know whether this thing is rocking until you replace that condenser fan motor. That's going to be a 2008, so she's old. That's almost a 20-year-old system. Okay, so you're going to be wanting to let them know, let the homeowner know, let the customer know this is a gamble right now. This is going to be pretty risky investment. Okay. So that's pretty much it. That's just a quick video demonstrating how to quickly know whether or not it's the capacitor or the condenser fan motor when you have a open winding internally in that condenser fan. Like I said, check your heat, check your temperatures. You can see the compressor. It's open. That's why it's still cool. Like I said, if it would have been bearings, if it would have been just the capacitor, the condenser fan motor would have been warm and hot. I mean, definitely would have been at least warm. This is one of the reasons why it's so desperately important to let customers know these need to be replaced preventatively. They need to be replaced when they start getting weak. You know, out of that, I usually, out of the 5% plus or minus tolerance, but you could wait till 10 before you make it critical. I'd say if it's out of the 5%, I'll tell them, okay, it's recommended. If it's below, if it's at 20% or more, it's critical to replace this. Because I feel like that this here killed the condenser fan motor. And like I said, it doesn't happen immediately. Over time, it will go out on a thermal limit. It's gonna basically cut out and not kill the motor immediately, but what happens is, even for it to go out on thermal limit, it has to basically heat up those internal windings, and it's gonna start basically burning that resin off over and over. So the more you let your capacitor fail in the circuit, it's a 20-year-old unit, so I'm sure it's probably had many times to fail in the circuit. What happens is, over time, those windings are gonna basically, essentially degrade. You could do a insulation test using insulation test. So this thing is shot now, but you could pretty much use a insulation tester and see the integrity of the actual windings, the insulation or the resin on the outside of these windings. And like I said, over time that resin will start degrading if it has too many fail cycles. And even if it cuts out on thermal, you're still causing damage to the system. Okay, so keep that in mind. Don't basically be one of those guys that are like, oh, you don't need to replace that capacitor. Oh, wait till it's, you know, almost completely shot. No, you want to basically get ahead of this thing, because you don't want to be replacing a whole condenser fan motor when you could have just basically swapped out a quick little, you know, whatever the price, $250, $300 capacitor. Okay, so this is a lesson. I always like these lessons. I always like to you know, use these as learning lessons as well, because people don't realize, they underestimate how critical these preventative replacements are. Just because it's got a thermal limit, and the same goes with a blower motor, same goes with the compressor. You see how hot that compressor was. Okay, now it's very rare, it's not that common for a compressor to fail. Well, it is common. I mean, and it could have been due, no one's really to tell what caused the failure, but I believe a lot of times it's just due to windings. If it's an electrical failure like this, it's just too many failed cycles, too many attempts to start up, and those windings will basically start melting. It's just like if you have a wire overheat. It's just like if you have a wire, let me put that in, overheat too much, if it's pulling too many amps, if you see that wire start melting and just getting all degraded, after a while you're going to start exposing metal. And that's what's happening with the windings. They've got a very light, thin resin on the inside of these windings, and you basically, you know, you go too many times, you're going to run out of times, and it's going to kill your motor. So that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.